Well, winter is on its way, and so as we prepare for another cold and flu season, I am really excited to share one of my favorite home preventative and remedy recipes with you guys today. So Fire Cider is kind of a new name for an old remedy. It is an Oxymel, and the renowned Rosemary Gladstar popularized this term Fire Cider with her preparations. So Oxymels have been around for thousands and thousands of years. Even Hippocrates has wrote about them in his medical text, saying that Oxymels are beneficial for expectorating and ease of breath. They are a combination of herbs, raw vinegar, and raw honey that can bring a lot of wonderful benefits to you. They're also extremely customizable, and I'm going to share with you guys one option today, but if you want a whole list of all of the plants that I would consider using in this preparation, you can find that on the blog post. I'll put a little card up here, and I'll also put a link in the description. You don't need a lot of fancy equipment at all for this. You just need a glass jar with a tight fitting lid. You need whatever plants you're going to be using, your honey and your vinegar. That is it. Nothing fancy or extravagant at all here. You can do something really simple like this one that is completely wildcrafted with things that were available to me locally. You can buy all of the fun and exotic things. When you are selecting ingredients, there are some criteria to keep in mind. This is a wellness elixir, right? We're wanting to prevent cold and flu and also help treat cold and flu. So probably focusing a lot on mucus, respiratory, those kinds of functions that can be really compromised during those situations. So you're going to want to select plants that are stimulating, expectorant, diaphoretic, toning, pungent, things that are antimicrobial, antibacterial, antiviral, all of those things that are going to support you during those times of stress. So again, you can find more detailed information on those things on the blog post, but today I'm just going to go ahead and make up a batch with you. Today I'm going to be using raw apple cider vinegar from Azure Standard. That's great unless you're making your own. Some local raw organic honey that is phenomenally soothing, and it just makes this whole thing a little more palatable. I'm using some yarrow that is antiviral, antibacterial, astringent, diaphoretic, a fantastic one. Some ginger, warming, stimulating, pungent, just a great one. Garlic, fondly known as poor man's penicillin, so gotta include that. Some onions, again, sisters to the garlic in the allium family. Some cayenne, so warming. It also helps with the pain, the circulation, and again, diaphoretic for those fevers. Cinnamon has its own health benefits and also just really helps with the flavor and palatability here. Some rose hips for some extra vitamin C. A bunch of lemons, nice and astringent, tart packed with vitamin C, and also just adds a lot to the palatability and the flavor here. I've got some astragalus and turmeric. Astragalus is such a wonderful general strengthener, so I use that in so many things all winter long. A great stress support. Turmeric, anti-inflammatory, just a really wonderful one as well. And calendula, antiviral, antibacterial, very soothing, helps with any kind of throat infections. And that's what I'm going to be using today. Let's get started. We're gonna start chopping some stuff up. We don't need to get very fine slices on anything, but we do want to get it roughly chopped and remove all of the skins and peels. Ooh, that's nice and pungent. I'm already crying. I like to just work in layers until I have my jar maybe a little over 3/4 full, just about here. And since I'm about halfway, I'm gonna start adding some of the things that might be float hazards. So I'm gonna add in my pepper, some cinnamon, these rose hips, some yarrow and calendula. I'm gonna get these little kind of lightweight floaty bits in here. And no, I'm not really measuring anything. This is a very folk remedy. You just kind of eyeball it and go with what feels right. You're not gonna mess it up. I'm gonna be brave and do one more onion. We're getting a little full there, but I'm gonna top this with one more lemon. All right, final step, we're going to add the vinegar, and some people like to add the honey at this point as well, but I like to save the honey for last. When this is done infusing, I'll strain it and then I'll add the honey at that point. So we're just going to cover this completely with our vinegar. Perfect. Okay, so this just needs a lid now, and I'm actually gonna steal this plastic one. Either use a plastic lid or you can use a little piece of parchment paper or something to protect your metal lid from getting all corroded. You can give this a little shake like this every day or two. Just set it somewhere warm in a cupboard or on the counter and let this infuse for about 3 to 5 weeks. And then we'll move on to the next step, which I will show you on this batch that is finished. This batch has been infusing for about 4 weeks and it is ready to strain out. I've already been using it. It's great. I'm going to just use a sieve. You can use some cheesecloth and get it into a new jar. This is the point that I like to add honey just to taste, makes it a little bit more palatable, and honey is also so nice on a sore throat. So I'm just gonna mix this up and then I'll keep it in the refrigerator for anywhere up to about 6 months. Perfect. So you can take this preventatively just for a general boost of wellness and warmth, about a shot glass a day, or when you're experiencing acute symptoms, having 1 or 2 teaspoons every hour even can be extremely beneficial. Oxymels are more than just medicinal, they are also wonderful used culinarily. I use them in my homemade mayonnaise, salad dressings. They're just really a wonderful condiment. You can use them in a lot of different ways. Rosemary Gladstar herself actually has a whole book on 101 ways to cook with your fire cider, and I'll put that in the description if you want to check that out as well. So, cheers. It is really spicy, but it's actually really tasty. Thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments and maybe give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend. I'll see you guys next week. Spicy.